Tinubu's government is the most integrity deficient in Nigeria's history. Welcome to the news, and please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post our juicy news updates. Please click on the notification bell. A great nation is built on a strong moral foundation. No nation succeeds without, as Plato puts it, a healthy soul where reason, passion, and will drive leaders and citizens to defend their nation's best interest. Equally, no nation succeeds without a moral compass, without a robust sense of what is right and what is wrong. But Nigeria lacks a healthy soul and a moral compass. It is a nation where might is right. Nothing has exposed this national soullessness and moral vacuum more than the emergence of Bola Tinubu as Nigeria's president and the indecorous manner in which he formed a government. For context, I have just read Dr. Segun Aganga's fantastic book, Reclaiming the Jewel of Africa. He makes a strong case for far-reaching reforms of Nigeria political governance structure, saying restructuring is not about if, but when and how. But besides the well-articulated call for radical reforms of Nigeria's political, economic, and social institutions, the book's other theme is the need for a value-based society. Dr. Aganga, a former minister, argues that the bedrock of a prosperous nation and future leader is the value system of society, adding that unless the values of integrity, honesty, patriotism form the foundation on which Nigeria is built, the nation will fail woefully. Hardly anyone can truthfully fault Dr. Aganga's views. Yet, most Nigerians are not passionate about integrity and honesty in politics and governance. Nigerians, it seems, suffer from Stockholm Syndrome, a psychological condition in which a victim identifies and empathizes with their captor and their goals. Nigerians accept and tolerate the impunity of the political class, their captor. Indeed, some make excuses for the rabid corruption of the political and public office holders, saying that they are under societal pressure, as if terrorists, kidnappers, and armed robbers should be excused because they are driven by poverty. Unfortunately, the Stockholm Syndrome does not only afflict the mass of the population, who generally lacks the knowledge or the inclination to accept pressure on the political class and hold them to account. This psychological condition also afflicts the so-called attentive public, namely the educated elite, the intelligentsia, the commentariat, etc. In his book, There Was a Country, the legendary Professor Chinua Achebe devoted a section to what he termed the role of the writer in Africa. Professor Achebe posited that the writer should not be indifferent, saying, if a society is ill, the writer has a responsibility to point it out. He said, there is a moral obligation not to ally oneself with power against the powerless. Adding, an artist would not be someone who takes sides with the emperor against his powerless subject. Achebe went on to say that the writer should ask the hard questions, even if doing so causes a few headaches. Well, on the role of the writer, especially in the Nigerian context, I belong to the Achebe school. I will not spend my time writing weekly newspaper columns unless they speak truth to power. Ask the hard questions and offer perspective on the way forward. Even in the West, where the society is healthier, writers do not genuflect to politicians and tolerate their impunity. As the Economics magazine once said, the questioning of institutions and received wisdom is a democratic virtue, and a skeptical lack of defense towards leaders is the first step to reform. Simply put, speak truth to power and ask the hard questions. So here are my hard questions. Why do you recognize and talk about the irreparable damage that Tinubu emerges as Nigeria's president and the impunity with which he formed the government void of integrity have done to the soul and moral bearings of this country? Tinubu is the most controversial president in Nigeria's history, and his government is the most integrity deficient. Why is there a seeming consensus to normalize them? Take the man himself. For the first time in its history, Nigeria has a president whose name, age, early education, tertiary education, parentage, and ancestral roots are subject of raging controversies. A president was entangled in a drug trafficking case in America who forfeited a whooping $460,000 to the U.S. authority. A president whose source of stupendous wealth and credibility of that source set talks wagging. Tinubu said he attended primary and secondary schools, but later said he did not. He blamed needless errors for discrepancies in his INEC form in 1999, and now blames an unnamed clerk of Chicago State University for several errors in his recently issued certificate. The president of Nigeria should never have a personal life shrouded in such miasma of dubiety. And here, another hard question. What is the message to aspiring future leaders of Nigeria? That they can make the wrong choices in life, live a less than honest life, and still become president, provided they have deep pockets and can manipulate the system? But lest we forget, Nigerians overwhelmingly rejected Tinubu at the poll. Out of the 24 million total valid votes in February's presidential election, he secured only 8.8 million or 37%. 15 million or 63% were against him. Leaving aside the deeply flawed election, Tinubu is president only because of a constitutional anomaly that allows minority rule. Yet, despite his weak mandate and tenuous legitimacy, Tinubu is ruling imperiously as if he won a landslide victory. Tinubu is the most controversial president in Nigeria's history, and his government is the most integrity deficient. Why is there a seeming consensus to normalize them? Take his chances in government. Tinubu installed Godswill Akpabio as Senate president and made Abdullahi Ganduje his party national chairman. In April, the EFCC asked Akpabio, a regular guest, to report for questioning. Akpabio's lawyer said he was suffering from pneumonia and cardiac arrhythmia and needed medical treatment abroad. Yet, that did not stop him from running with Tinubu's backing for the Senate presidency. And Ganduje, well, he's facing trial for allegedly receiving bundles of dollars from a contractor as shown in a viral video. So unprecedentedly, Nigeria is in a shameful situation where the heads of its executive arm, legislature, and ruling party are men with questionable integrity and character. The mantra innocent until proven guilty insults the prospective mind because no serious nation allows people with doubtful characters to head its critical institutions. What about Tinubu's cabinet? Well, a lot has been said about how it is the most bloated in Nigeria's history and arguably the most mediocre. But it is also the most integrity deficient. The cabinet ex-governors face allegations of corruption and or mismanagement. Some of the other ministers are also drugged by questions of integrity. Take Hannatu Musawa. In 2020, the Senate rejected appointment to the board of a National Pension Commission, PENCOM, because she did not have the NYSC discharge certificate, having absconded from the National Youth Service. This year, Tinubu got the Senate to confirm her as minister without completing the mandatory service, a disregard for the NYSC, a reverse state institution, and a slap in the face for thousands who dutifully did youth service without a job. But integrity did not matter in Tinubu's ministerial choices. This person is hitting the nail on the head. You understand? In the heat tank, but hopefully, I just hope say as in the hit the nail on the head. We Nigerians, we stand up, they hold these people accountable. Alright, on this note, you have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.